Great. Welcome everybody to this week's very special community call. This is going to be the last one for 2024. We really had a hell of a year, so we thought we'd. I even stepped back from my holiday to just do this call and to wrap the year up properly, because this really has been a hell of a year. But more on that in a bit. First of all, let me introduce the two guests I have here, who hopefully need no introduction. First of all, Jaya, Nym CEO. How's it going, boss?
It's going very, very well.
Good.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
Excellent. Always happy to have you. And then the man himself, Harry Halpin, Nym CEO. How is it going, Harry?
Happy holidays, everyone. I know everyone's at least looking forward to get hopefully some rest and recovery, no matter where you are. I have my Bletchley Park Christmas bell, and I do
Nice.
celebrate as many holidays as possible. Had a great Eid this year, and looking forward to Chinese New Year's.
Amazing. Thanks for making the time. Just a quick note for our audience, guys. Big thanks for being here with us. Harry's only going to be here for 30 minutes because then he has to go into a different meeting. But big thanks for making it anyway, Harry. Before we jump in, the usual housekeeping items. A huge thanks for joining again, guys. This is going to be the last one, so this is going to be the big one. As usual, we're keeping a close eye on the questions here in the live chat, both from Twitch and from YouTube. And if you want to preserve your privacy and not log in with your YouTube or Twitch account, you can also leave questions on the Nym General Matrix chat. We're also keeping an eye there, and we're going to be having a Q&A at the end. And if any question is very relevant, then I'm going to pick it right up and ask our participants. But with all of that said, we have a lot to go over. Really, I can't emphasize enough how crazy of a year this has been. I mean, for me at least, I've only been around for almost 3 years now, but this has definitely been the biggest and the craziest year. First of all, I want to ask both of you whether you agree, and maybe how would you summarize this year? What has happened?
I mean, it's definitely been like the most busy hardcore year in terms of shipping software. So I think there's been years where maybe things have been a little bit, we've had big events like the mainnet launch and the token sale, but this is the year where the rubber really hits the road, and we're actually trying to deliver absolutely everything in our white paper. So this includes the ZK NIMs, the mixed network as a whole, something easy to use, because we actually want people to use the NymVPN and buy the Nym token. And so I'm really impressed that the team's been operating under a lot of stress. I know the community has also been operating in a lot of stress. We've had huge, significant network upgrades, changes in the token economics. But again, we're fine tuning the whole system so we can actually get real anonymity into the hands of millions of people starting next year. So it's kind of do or die for Nym, and I'm glad everyone has worked so hard this year, and I hope people do get a bit of a break. And for your node runners, just keep your nodes on if at all possible. We won't do any big upgrades over the winter holidays.
Yeah, well, I mean, just to echo really what Harry's been saying, it's kind of like it's been a big year, but a big year in that kind of like extremely practical, hands-on kind of way. So yeah, like the big kind of headline fluff hasn't really been this year. This year has been much more about like getting your hands dirty and just doing the hard work of making the system fully live and fully usable and connecting all the dots. So, Nym has a very, a pretty massive architecture. Actually, there's some, major kind of complex bits, everything from the token economics, the blockchain, the mixnet, and the apps that are integrating and being built on top of that. And making sure everything hangs together in a meaningful way, and that the community is with us as we do that, and that everyone is holding on tight during a bear market, and keeping the vision alive is a pretty major achievement, and that's been the kind of crux of this year. Really, is just getting that hard work done, and we're seeing the results now, which is extremely satisfying. So yeah.
Absolutely. Sorry, guys, I had some connection issues.
No problem.
The other thing that I wouldn't forget about, actually, and I want to ask both of you about this, is that I think Nym as an organization has also gone through some massive changes, and we are now actually maturing to the point where I'm really, just proud to look around on the stuff that's going on internally. We're very busy, well organized little ants working in this. What's the colony, right? So how do you guys feel about that? Where have we arrived by the end of 2024 in terms of org?
Yeah, so when Nym started, it was just basically a few programmers, some R&D folks. We didn't really have, as some of you probably know, we just had Theo in the Telegram chat. We're really happy with Nym Squad League, how the community is taking over a lot of the chat functions. And we spent a lot of this year building out, I see there's some questions about in the chat, a real marketing arm, doing hires from NordVPN. We have advisory contracts with folks from Express and Proton. And I think the main focus this year has been, again, hiring client developers to really get Nym working on mobile, and doing this whole rebrand, which maybe Jaya can give you a sneak preview of or discuss in more detail, and really focusing on building up not just a token marketing branch, because the fact of the matter is, as without NymVPN users, we're just emitting more and more tokens continually, but really pushing marketing so we can get NymVPN and thus the Nym network and in the hands of people that don't even know about tokens and don't know about mixnets, but just want a private and secure VPN. So, we're about 50 people. So if you look at like other teams in Web3, that's about the same size as Celestia, maybe 1/3 or something the size of Sui. So we're definitely other tokens, other projects around our size usually have like 10 or 20 people, and we're really focusing tons on coding and building up that VPN marketing arm. So I'm quite happy with how the team's gone, and we have a lot more to do. We're hoping Sudo and everyone will take a lead in continuing to decentralize the network. Particularly the validators. That's we don't run any validators, but we do want the community to basically be more engaged in that and moving to a more DAO-like structure. We were hoping to do that this year, but to be honest, we've been completely consumed pushing the NymVPN out, and I hope you've seen that's worked well.
Yeah. I think it's been a huge process of maturing for both the Nym the company, but also Nym the community. So we've kind of, the way that I see the Nym Squad League and the Nym Squad Wealth Fund is like almost trialing decentralization. So I would say that kind of I massively appreciate the fact that we've actually got a real strong community around us right now, and a huge thanks to everybody who's been very active and very involved in the Squad Wealth Fund and the Squad League over the past year. And that's kind of like one of my big ambitions for the next year. I think me and Sudo are putting our heads together really on this decentralization roadmap to empower the community to have more ownership and more involvement in the Nym project overall. And to mirror that internally, also the company, as you said, Sudo, has also both grown a lot in numbers, but also grown a lot in terms of maturity and organizational structure. So yeah, let's see if how that pans out in the new year. But I think we're in a good place for that to really bear fruit as we enter a kind of fully commercially viable app and platform in the next year.
As we're talking about the next year, I want to ask both of you, what are the energy levels heading into this year? Because it's been kind of brutal these past few years. It's been a relentless push towards our objectives. So how are you feeling about the next year, energy wise?
Yeah, I'll go first. I feel really good. I'll be very honest, everyone. It's been 2 years of a hard, cold, brutal bear market for anyone with tokens. So we're glad that you've survived. A lot of people haven't. For those of you that have survived, we are seeing prices go up. as usual, led by Bitcoin. We believe that will go through the rest of the market, and we're going to see what a bull market really heavily in 2025. Although, obviously, with the war in Ukraine, Trump, the Middle East continuing to fall apart, and possible issues between Trump and China, things are geopolitically as crazy as they've ever been, if not more crazy. And I'm not even, and so we're actually quite worried that we won't get NymVPN out in time. So we're pushing as hard as possible to do this launch in January, and then we'll kind of move our focus back to the token. So I'm really excited. We have, I think, the real question that NymVPN faces in 2025 and Nym as a whole is, do people want this network? So I'll just be very honest. I believe people do. We have, I think, over 10,000 beta testers. And as many of you know, because you're beta testers, it barely worked in the beginning. It's still pretty sketchy. In the New Year's, we're going to implement gateway selection. So if your gateway doesn't work, you can select an individual gateway, which would really help with getting the rewards to the right gateways, and help people with use cases like streaming. Again, when we launch, I'll just tell people, next year, the big event is going to be in the beginning. If any of you are in London or can make it, you're all invited. Just email me or Jaya or Telegram Sudo. We'll be doing a launch event in London. It's not public yet, but I'll tell everyone here since you all showed up. London at the Frontline Club, which was Julian Assange's old hiding place, with Chelsea Manning and other special guests on January 28th, World Privacy Day. So for anyone that wants to hang out with the team, and everyone's wondering when is payments going to launch, when is all stuff going to launch, well, we have a date, which is January 28th. And I think that's going to be a real killer. We also will have, at launch, we will have basic censorship resistance working. Right now, there's nothing. So if your country, like, for example, Russia, we know, and some other countries, China, they block WireGuard. NymVPN's probably blocked where you are. We will have basic censorship resistance working at launch, we believe. And we will add more and more sophisticated censorship resistance as the year progresses. If people have been following all of the discussions, somehow post-quantum crypto has finally kind of got on people's radar, particularly in the Bitcoin community. Nym will have post-quantum resistance. Right now, we do not, just to be clear. The paper should come out hopefully at Chaos Computer Congress, where some of the folks are at, in Germany, which is the world's biggest hacker conference, and then we'll display it for everyone here. But effectively, we've already built post-quantum crypto Rust libraries. Well, we just haven't integrated them in yet, with the help of our good friend Karthik Bhargavan, who people may know from TLS 1.3 and helping verify signals post-quantum work. So that means Nym will be, I think, the first or kind of post-quantum mixnet. And after Molvad, I think Molvad has some experimental stuff, but we believe ours is better. Will at least have security proofs and whatnot. We'll also have post-quantum resistance on the DVPN side. And we'll be using, because there's a lot of concern about post-quantum. No one's really sure which algorithms are the best. The US government recommends some. Daniel Bernstein, who's a famous cryptographer that we work with, recommends others. We're going to actually go with both. So we will have a mixture of MLChem, which is the fast one the US government likes, and the slow McEllis, which is the most conservative one, which means even if there's a secret backdoor in your lattice-based crypto, we will have a amazing old school code-based crypto scheme that will reinforce your security. So the data on the new paper, hopefully by end of year. It's not going to be a very exciting paper unless you love math. It's going to be post-quantum crypto. So it's going to be a lot of proofs, but you'll get in the first few pages a general overview of how post-quantum works and why we're doing it. So we're going to upgrade the Sphinx packet format, and then there'll be another paper probably out later in the year talking about how we're going to add how post-quantum will be added to the WireGuard framework in a way which is, I think, kind of cooler than and more secure than what everyone else is doing. Now, post-quantum is really for the geeks. I guess for us, the real question is, what are users? What's going to make users really excited? What's going to make NymVPN go viral? So again, we're going to launch gateway selection. And gateway selection is the first step because that should allow people to stream much easier. You'll be able to select gateways which are not on large data centers. So this is going to encourage people to run gateways on bare metal machines and not on just big data centers. And then furthermore, that's kind of like the first step to really make Nym go viral, because what we eventually hope to do is integrate the Nym wallet into the NymVPN. So again, every Nym VPN user, when they purchase, they will get their order converted into Nym token, either since fiat or Bitcoin. And yes, I saw Biana's question. We will support Monero and Zcash. I believe we'll support Monero at launch. I'm not sure if we'll support Zcash, but we're working on it. And again, we do have the Zcash integration coming up. We will support BTC Pay. So, and I think Monero will kind of come along with the BTC Pay support. So that should be up for beta testing in January. Everyone should be able to play with it. So it's cool. You'll be able to get privacy enhanced, no KYC VPN payments. And then what we hope is that eventually when you install NymVPN, you'll get a little Nym wallet, similar to the current wallet many of you have with your nodes. And then if you just happen to have a good desktop machine, a good internet connection, you want people to use it, you can turn your desktop into a little gateway for your friends. It really helps defeat censors in countries like China. And the more people that use your laptop or your desktop computer, the more Nym token you'll make. So people will use the NymVPN and earn Nym token while using it by letting other people use their connections, which we think is a really amazing use case that we think will go viral. And then there's tons of other stuff on the SDK front. We'll probably spend a bunch more time working on the SDKs, getting integrations easier for those who've been following closely. We have Max made a Go library. We have more integrations lined up. We're going to have to do quite a bit more work there, but we do want the integrations to be easy, the APIs and integration usage to be easier and easier. And this will involve doing some work for ZK Nyms. We probably will take fiat for payment in an envelope. It's a little sketchy, but we can do that. I think it depends on what country it's legal in. I don't think it's legal in Switzerland, but we do have a secret address in another country, which we may be able to reveal to folks when that comes out. NymVPN will not have a wallet fully integrated January launch because we don't think normal users, it might just confuse people, but we hope to get it out later in the year. And let me go through if there's any more questions that I missed. So yeah, we are definitely doing Monero and Zcash. The builds are getting better. We will eventually have reproducible builds. That's definitely on the to-do list, but reproducible builds allow you to verify you're running the right code, and that's going to take a long time. Okay, so good question from Beyond. Do we have a marketing strategy before and after launch? Yes, we do. We definitely do. So Robinson, who some of you met in a previous phone call from NordVPN, he's been setting up a very cutting-edge VPN marketing plan. So while I don't think we have an Instagram account yet, you should. I know people have discussed, and we've always been hesitant to get
there's some tests happening there. So we're running basically a core part of the marketing strategy is to test and see what works, right? And Instagram is one of the platforms where we're going to be testing, but our initial core target audiences are more on X rather than Instagram, because effectively, crypto is one of our main initial target audiences. So we're running small tests on Instagram, but it's not like the first platform that we're focusing on.
Yeah, but we will push out very heavily with Twitter ads, Google ads. So you will, we suspect, we have a number of affiliates. We have a lot of journalists who will hopefully give us good reviews. Who'll be coming to our launch event. So we should see reviews coming in. For KOLs, I don't know. I mean, Naomi Brockwell is really interested. So hopefully we'll get her on this podcast, or I'll do an event with her. And yeah, one day Joe Rogan. I wouldn't be super surprised, as folks may or may not know, I'm pretty good friends with Moxie, and he was on Joe Rogan, and Mark Andreessen, who we saw in November. He was also on Joe Rogan. So you never know. I would definitely take, if anyone knows Joe, I definitely would take that interview up. And we're also looking at other podcasts. I mean, to be honest, we've been a little bit careful with advertising because it's not super, obviously, as you know, the NymVPN can be a bit flaky. We're still addressing a few minor things. All the major ones have been addressed in our security audit by Cura 53. All that should be done by launch. So we really want to kind of hit the ground really hard in January to really get word out over Nym as much as possible. And that's going to be a real push. And if any of you know people who podcast, even people that are not interested in crypto, they're just interested in VPNs and privacy, we're happy to get on, because we really want to maximize the number of users. And just so you know, the first month or two, maybe 3 months, we will have a lot of what we call parameterization. So how the mixnet works is, again, you mix packets, but one of the really hard questions is, how long do you mix them? How much we add noise, but how much noise do you add, and what pattern of noise is most effective? So we're currently running tests against Tor and other kind of VPNs. And what the first few months is all the traffic's coming in. We need to maximize the amount of traffic in the network to give us a realistic sample of what actual people do on the internet. And once we know what actual people do on the internet, we can start parameterizing the mixnet and really trying to figure out what's the kind of ideal latency anonymity trade-off. And we do have a few tricks for speeding up the mixnet. We know the mixnet's a bit slow, so hopefully many of you are using fast mode rather than anonymous mode. We hope to get more of you using anonymous mode. And thanks to the work of Daniel Bernstein and others, we do have a 2 to 4x performance boost we can do to the mixnet by speeding up the crypto, including, I'll give you another secret, we will actually there's a lot of crypto projects out there, but most crypto projects don't deploy new cipher suites. And we will have a new cipher suite. For those of you who are cryptography geeks, you probably know about Cha-Cha 20. There will be Hip Hop 20 coming out, which will be a speedy mixnet-wide block cipher. So we will start seeing more and more speed increases. But again, it's really crucial for us to get as many people using the mixnet as possible. That's how we understand how to parameterize things. So once we get those parameters set, we can then adjust them more delicately, but we really need to get the initial parameters right. I think that is all the questions. I might have missed some.
I do have one for you though, Harry.
Go for it.
Before you moved on, what about the buyback? So, guys, we just put out a blog post. Hopefully, Salazar can maybe drop a link in the chat. We concluded our first ever buyback. As you know, we dedicated $1 million towards purchasing Nym tokens in the market. How did this go, Harry? And also, do you have any info on what we're going to be using the tokens for? Anything that you want to share there?
Yeah, so I just want to, before I change topics, I saw a good question about noise generation. So again, noise generation produces a pattern, but it's an anti-pattern. It's a pattern which is meant to disrupt existing patterns in traffic. So the whole point is to prevent the real message from being separated from noise. If the real message can be separated from noise, we've failed in producing the correct pattern or anti-pattern via noise. So what we're doing is we're working with EPFL, Carmela Troncoso, who some people may know, and we are testing different strategies for creating noise. Right now, if you use the mixnet, we use a pretty primitive one. For every, there's a constant, particularly on desktop, constant stream of packets using what's called a Poisson process. That is pretty indistinguishable, but it's very heavyweight. And we want something that works better on WireGuard and also better with different kinds of bursty traffic. So traffic isn't, constant rate. It tends to be quite bursty. So that's what we're investigating. And then what we do is we compare our traffic with noise using various kinds of deep learning AI algorithms to try to separate the pattern. And if we can separate the pattern, then we keep playing with it till we can. So that's the goal. Claudia's also been working on this in terms of different kinds of attacks. So we'll have a lot of papers on that coming up pretty soon. And there's some simple things we can do, such as switching the exit gateways in the mixnets. That's thanks to the mix match paper that makes the mixnet more private. Now, I'm just going to have to be pretty quick on the buyback. So we did it. We got the ticket. We got tokens. I think we got them at a pretty good price. So we made a fair amount of profit. We did a meeting with some of the validators and the initial supporters. Some of the initial supporters, even though the token price isn't doing too well, they want to double down and get more tokens. So we may sell a little bit of those, but the vast majority of those we would like to basically use to fuel the community. So in order to make sure the community is running enough gateways, running higher gateways. So our treasury has, I think, increased by 3 or 4 million tokens. We are already in a profit. Things have been pretty stable. You saw there was a little bit of a collapse in Bitcoin today, but we didn't fall particularly hard. And we plan to keep pushing. I mean, that will require more nodes, particularly more gateways, particularly more bare metal gateways. So we want to get those Nym token rewards basically, in your hands as soon as possible once those nodes go up. And I'll let probably Jaya handle that and the questions about the new website. If you have any final questions for me, I would say that, just to be clear, the buyback was, people didn't really notice a lot of it. It was often running in the background with very small purchase orders. Every once in a while, we would do something to test something and it would spike up a little bit. But the majority of the price spike was actually not from us. We were actually not trying to do that. The majority of the price spike, I think, came from people who were just excited about the buyback and hopefully excited about Nym. So we saw a little bit of a price spike, for example, after the validator phone call yesterday. That was quite nice. So we will announce when we do this again. We were working on our own high frequency trading bot. We'll see how that continues. I'm sure, to be very honest, in the first month or two of NymVPN's launch, again, we have real world payments, real world users, real world data. There'll be a lot of adjustments, but we just wanted the infrastructure in place so we could do the January launch. When will it be possible to run validators for the active set? Okay, that's a longer term research question, which Sudo, along with Agalos, who many of you may know from IOHK, Cardano, and Claudio and Jaya will be working on in the new years. The Nyx chain is already live on mainnet. The Nyx token is essentially a voting token, which is not liquid right now because we don't want to cause confusion and weird price effects on Nym. We will eventually move to either merge that with Nym or to make it liquid. But that's a hard economic question. And we're working with, if anyone has opinions, we'd love to hear them. Also, if there's anything you want us to discuss, we're having a meeting about our objectives for 2025. I think I just gave most of them to you. But if you have further objectives, so the objectives, our main objectives will be, going viral, getting tons of users, decentralizing the validators, going post-quantum, being more censorship resistant, launching the rebrand, making sure the noise works well. Do you have any more kind of ask for the core team? And also, just by the way, we're always looking for open source contributions. We've had a few, we'd like more. But what ask? Yeah, we will eventually have a data governance process. I think for that, I'm not really watching that too carefully. I'm more focused on other
That's
things.
fine. I can take these questions. If you need to jump, that's fine.
I'll jump in 1 minute. For API 2 development, okay, so
it's coming. Yeah, mid-January.
Yeah, it's definitely there'll be. I mean, if you been watching the Zcash development, there's been a bunch of work on the APIs, and we're just still packaging them all up. Yeah. I mean, as Nym, we're as a project, we're beloved by many different other cryptocurrencies. I will be speaking at a large Bitcoin conference shortly. We spoke at the Polkadot Web3 conference. I think that's where we launched the initial beta testing at. And then IOHK, I've had dinner with Charles. Agalos has built a lot of that system from a scientific standpoint. And Agalos is an advisor to Nym. We have weekly meetings with him. He helped design the token economics. So we've had a lot of love from the Cardano kind of hierarchy, let's say, in IOHK. We haven't really focused on the community, mainly because we're trying to get our project out. We do believe we will, we're focusing on things that people actually use right now. So in terms of integration, we were focused on Monero. We're focusing now on Zcash. There'll be a big integration announced shortly in January with another project. Don't think I'm at liberty to say, but we are talking with, for example, IOHK has the privacy enhanced project Midnight Network. Hasn't launched yet, but we've been talking about integrating with them for I don't know, 2 or 3 years now. So since it was conceived. So we're definitely on the radar of a lot of other projects. And we've also been, as you know, some of our advisors are now at SUI, like George Denisis. He's more or less leading all the scientific research there, trying to building a Solana killer. I've even talked about Nym with Anatoly from Solana. So I think everyone really appreciates that we're doing something very different. And I think we're happy, unlike a lot of other blockchains, we can integrate with basically anyone who wants network level, hard network level privacy. And a lot of people do. We've even had some discussions with the Ethereum community at DevCon about integrations on MetaMask, which were previously blocked by their architecture. So lots going on. Again, we don't want to get too distracted with the integrations. We want to get the VPN out, get in the hands of thousands, hopefully millions of people. That's going to take a while, but we will then kind of refocus more on decentralization and integration. Okay. Cool. I'm sorry, I got to run. We got a plan for next year, and everyone's going on holiday soon. But it's great seeing everyone. Merry holidays from Bletchley Park. That's where we presented Nym to Whitfield Diffie, who invented public key cryptography. He's quite a fan. He has a T-shirt. I'll see if I can send a photo. And take care, everyone. I'll see you in the new year.
Thanks for joining, Harry. Bye. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that huge dump of alpha. How do you a huge dump of alpha, Jaya?
Yeah, we can go back over it and talk in a little bit more detail if you want. But actually,
before we do that, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Harry began his alpha dump after you asked him what are energy levels like for next year. So I think it's clear to see. I think it's clear to see that energy levels are good at Nym. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually wanted to come back to this question with this exact segue, that we see that Harry's energy levels are at a pretty good place. What about you, Bus? How are you looking into this this next upcoming?
I have to be honest. I was extremely tired earlier this year. Very, very tired. We've been pushing hard for a long time. Some of us since before the coin mainnet launch, and so I was very tired earlier this year. But going into the new year and wrapping up this year, I actually feel better than ever, and for some very important reasons. First of all, I am extremely happy with how our new marketing team is shaping out. So on a personal level, that's taking a huge load off of my plate. And I think we've got the team to really kind of make this happen. Secondly, my energy levels are up ahead of next year because this is where things get real, and this is where things get fun. We can finally do the things that we've been waiting for so long. And the reasons we've been waiting for that is because this is an incredibly complex architecture to actually build out technically, right? On a personal level, a lot of the work that I've had to do is to try and kind of maintain some sense of communication, community, and understanding around the token before the token was fully plugged into a live system that was being kind of like paid for and used by ordinary people. And that's quite an abstract space to kind of hold and to maintain excitement around. But now the thing is plugged in. And as we were talking about the buyback earlier, the buyback was one of the kind of testing of the mechanisms, right? And now we've completed that test round, and then we're entering into a phase of a perpetual buyback mechanism happening via people paying for the NymVPN subscriptions. So I'm energized by the fact that we have a market-ready product. I'm energized by the fact that we've got a platform that's finally going to be used, and some operators who are going to be routing an increasing amount of real user traffic and providing a real service to the world and solving a real problem for people. And that's in and of itself hugely energizing.
Yes, absolutely. I have to, before we start picking up some of the threads that Harry left us with, I have to give a huge +1 on Rob. and the team that he's been building over these past few months since he's joined. He's an absolute machine. So Rob, if you're watching this, we're very happy to have you on board. Also, next year you're going to be meeting some of the new team members who Rob brought on board. Really, marketing is shaping up to be excellent. I know that the community is interested in this topic. So yeah, stay tuned because we do have a killer world class team in that sense.
Absolutely. And
Now,
beyond, I think, because just go back to Beyond's question on marketing, you know, it would be good to just kind of have more of the marketing people onto the community calls. They can tell you all about the strategy. Some of it actually really does affect the community because it provides, especially when it comes to the affiliates strategy here, this is an opportunity also for core community to get involved, right? And become, you know, affiliates yourselves and actually start, you know, promoting the use of NymVPN and the network more broadly. So there's a kind of an opportunity here for people who maybe don't want to quite run nodes, but actually wants to contribute to the success of Nym more on a kind of marketing front and sharing the message and the brand and earning, you know, a share of rewards in that sense. So do also keep an eye out for that.
Absolutely. So it's already been mentioned, our upcoming affiliate program. So more details will be coming early next year. Hopefully, it's going to be exciting news for you guys. Now, since Rocio, our beloved Rocio, Shinobi Rocio, is asking the DAO topic, so let's pick that back up.
Yes.
Look, you and I have been. Let me put it in a bit more of a broader context. So we really are at like a pivotal moment in Nym's history, like you said, and like I've been saying over and over again for these past for these last months of 2024, the rubber does hit the road here. So obviously, this has implications for the community as well, and there's this whole. Harry kind of shared, maybe a bit overshared, some of the details that are coming for this next year. This obviously implies a bit of a like a reimagining of both the role of community at Nym and also, you know, some of the aspects of decentralization, such as, you know, a DAO structure and all of that stuff. I want to be careful here. I don't want to like overcommit to anything. Let's you know, like understanding that we're in a public discussion. Let's you know, let's share as much as we can where we are with this thought process.
Where we are with the DAO topic. Well, I mean, listen, there's a lot of different aspects to DAO, right? So we already have DAOs that are starting to form in our community and our ecosystem. And we want to kind of continue to support that because it's hugely positive, right? I love seeing Spectre DAO's quick response to, you know, the Explorer situation, for example, right? So the more organized the community is in terms of, you know, stepping in and getting organized as DAOs and solving real problems, the stronger the project is overall. So that's step one, you know, decentralization, like, okay, I come from a kind of theoretical background, right? So I have a whole theory around decentralization that I'll happily share in more detail later. But there's layers to it, right? When we say decentralization, there's a technical layer, there's a governance layer, there's an economic layer, and the question is which one are we really kind of talking about, and which one is most important for the success of the project. So, you know, when it comes to having a community that's mature enough to step in to actually start governing aspects of the Nym community, seeing more DAOs form in the community and take on these kind of leadership roles by actually solving problems as they see them come up, is, you know, a major first step. And, you know, we saw that already from early on in Nym's history with some of our partners like NodesGuru and No Trust Verify. Really, you know, step in and create, you know, super core tooling, explorers and so on and so forth. So it's good to see the community is still willing to do that. Then the next step is like the core architecture of Nym, really, right? And that's when we're talking about the chain and validators and so on. But there is a middle piece there around the Squad League and the Squad Wealth Fund, where I think we can go deep on governance very quickly. Yeah. With less technical complications. because opening the validator set has a whole history of technical complications that makes it not that straightforward. So I know everyone's very keen on that happening, and we're going to put out a roadmap for exactly how that's going to happen. So please hang tight and be patient. We are working on that roadmap right now because it's not as simple as you would think. There's a lot of different ways to open up the validator set that each come with, economic and security risks. So we're picking through that quite carefully before we're making any decisions of which route to take. So hold on tight on that level. But, in the meantime, we have this whole playground that we've set up this year, this whole wonderful space that we've actually created of, the delegations program, reaping staking rewards that get put into the Squad Wealth Fund that funds the Nym Squad League. And that is a powerful thing in and of itself. One of the results of the buyback was a doubling of the delegations program budget. So we're going to see, I think some significant rewards going into the Squad Wealth Fund next quarter. And, if we can, move towards making that fund, fully kind of governed by a DAO structure, then I think we're well on our way to have a, more of a decentralized community and more ownership in the direction of Nym and Nym ecosystem, at least.
Exactly. That is a great start. And I just want to zoom out here to talk about the community front a little bit, because the Squad League is turning a year old, which is crazy to say because it has been a very fast year. It feels like it was yesterday when we kicked it off.
Yeah.
And it really is. So I've had more than a week, almost 2 weeks, to step away for a little bit and think a bigger picture and just not do my day-to-day work, and just thinking about where the Nym community is now today and where it was a year ago. It's almost insane. So for those of you who don't know, those of you who joined recently, we ran a program twice so far called Shipyard. It was a big onboarding and educational program where we explained everything related to Nym, the vision, the mission, the technology, the people behind it, and everything. We put it into one nice gamified, comprehensive educational experience. A bunch of you popped up in our community as a result of Shipyard, so shout out to all the Shipyard pupils. And then at the end of the 2023 Shipyard, we seeing the success of Pineapple Proxy, which was our first proto squad, headed by Hawks, who's now of course working on the core team. We wanted to sort of encourage this with what Jaya mentioned, basically the forming of DAOs, right? The forming of the formation of individual groups, autonomous groups within the Nym community who are contributing in their own ways and have their own flavors and colors and textures. And now here we are a year later. We have the Squad Wealth Fund. We I think had a combined Squad Wealth Fund revenue of about 2 million Nym tokens, 1.5 million of which were spent on amazing grants and contributions from all of you, which I'm really, really grateful for. We have a whole bunch of community squads, which can be considered DAOs as well. So we have DAO Arrivas. We have you know what? I'm not even going to list them because I'm going to leave someone out for sure, and then you guys are going to get upset at me. So we just have a lot of phenomenal community squads, and as mentioned earlier, the end game for the Squad Wealth Fund from this in between state that it currently is in, where I try to make sure that everything is transparent, everything is public when it comes to what awards. Contributions or what gets rewards and what people get rewarded for, but it's still ultimately a centralized system, right? Basically, me and the team make all the decisions. The obvious next step in this decentralization process is to hand over the Squad Wealth Fund to DAO governance. So probably this is what we're gonna be starting with. This, I think, is probably the strongest point we can make at this point in time about the upcoming decentralization journey. I'm really excited about this. This has been the plan all along, and it's going to be a massive step forward. So I'm really looking forward to actually make it happen in 2025. It's one of the big things that I'm excited about for next year. All right, so wait, I hear that you have some alpha to drop on us before we start.
Yeah. So this is on the censorship resistance topic. Harry mentioned in his grand speech earlier in the session that censorship resistance is that we're aiming to get that in already for the launch. That let's see if that happens. But the nice news is that you can help us make that happen. We have a fork of the VPN apps that now has Amnesia integrated. And we would very much like for you all to test it and see how it's working out, especially to our community in Russia. If you could let us know how that's working for you. I'll drop a link here, or have Sudo drop a link to the repo where you can find the fork. It won't be out in all the app stores or anything like that, but just on GitHub. So please do test it out and see if it's working out. So this is just a fork that people can test to check how well Amnesia is working, especially in the Russian regions. We can start getting some user feedback.
Do you want to say a bit more about Amnesia, what it is, and why people should be excited?
I think given the shortness of time, maybe we can take that async in a blog post. And we can go to a few more of the questions, because I can't stay over, unfortunately.
Yeah, because we do have a lot of questions now. Harry obviously answered quite a few of them. Let's pick up the rebrand related ones. So RimJ, and also I think Gustavo asked, or someone else also asked at some point for like an update on the rebrand. What's our timeline for that?
Timeline is first thing in the new year. So we've Pablo and who some of you I think have met. He's been on a community call before. Pablo, our designer, and Martian, our front-end designer, have been working in overdrive over the past few weeks to turn the new visual identity into usable assets across our websites and apps and everything. So all of that is pretty much ready to go and pretty much ready to roll out first thing in January. So yeah, I'm personally very excited.
Yes, and also all I'm going to say is that also keep an eye on the community calls, the community call lineup early next year, because I may have some interesting guests for you related to this topic. That's all I'm going to say. Next up is once again Rocio. In 3 words, how do you describe 2024?
Things are getting real. That was 4 words. Getting real. That was 2 words. Let's get real. 3 words. There you go.
Okay, let's consider that. For me, it's most epic year for sure. It really has been absolutely epic. So those are my 3 words. Next questions from Beyond, but that's already been like thoroughly addressed. The integrations with Zcash, Monero, and BTC Pay. Yeah, maybe a bit more on this, Jaya. Actually, if we can't say more than we already have. So when will it be possible, from Bump Me Up, when will it be possible to run validators for the active set? So basically the question is, for those of you who don't know, currently the Nym validator set is a closed set. So you can't just permissionless fashion start your own validator. Do we have like any rough timeline on when this could change?
There is not a rough timeline. I can't give you a date. As I said, we're exploring the different kind of technical avenues and the economic strategy behind how we might want to open the validator set. And just so people understand, there's a legacy question here, which is we started up Nyx chain. We did not release the Nyx token because it was a bad idea at the time. Markets were not ready for a second token. We only just launched the Nym token. So what that means is that currently the Nyx token is not liquid on the markets, and that effectively makes the set permissioned, because it effectively means that anyone who wants to join the set needs to get Nyx tokens from the core team in order to join in. So Nyx tokens currently only serve one very specific function, and that is governance of the Nyx chain. Validators themselves get rewarded in Nym tokens because that is the liquid token. So we have this kind of strange hybrid model right now, and there's a few different options that we could go down, right? A hypothetical one, but unlikely, is launch the Nyx token, right? But it's not really, it's probably not going to happen in that way for lots of different reasons. Another option is, merge the networks, fully, where effectively we make Nym token also the governance token of the Nyx chain. That requires significant technical work and rethinking of token economics and lots of dynamics. And then the third option is a very radical option, which is to drop the chain entirely and run the Nym mixnet as a smart contract on other chains. So all of these come with a clusterfuck of issues that need to be thought through and worked out very carefully, and also come with significant work from the dev team, which currently is focusing fully on the success of the Nym mixnet and the NymVPN. So that's the reason why this is taking a long time. Again, I would say that it is nevertheless possible to become a validator on the Nyx chain. So if you are interested and you want to make a good case for it to the core team, just get in touch. There is constant interest, and there is the possibility to kind of see who might want to join, and there might be validators that might want to leave, or etc. So we're currently maintaining a kind of wait list. So if you do want to run a validator, and you have a crew, and you think you're up to it, then get in touch. So that's the scenario right now.
Yep. I think that's the right answer, that we don't have a timeline for this. Hopefully everybody understands from those three options and the gravity of those. There's quite a bit of thinking that, to be put into this. And it has all kinds of implications for the entirety of the project and the network and everything. So, yep, we'll do it when ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up,
but I want to add to that. That our focus, as you all know, is on the success of the NymVPN. There's another side to that, which is that the NymVPN cannot be successful without you guys. And what I mean by you guys, I mean the community, people who stake in the network, people who operate the network, because you, as a community, as an ecosystem, actually make out what is Nym, the platform itself, right? And this platform is the engine. I mean, this is literally the engine behind the VPN, and literally the engine behind the success of the VPN. And not only that, as Harry also hinted at, the platform is also going to serve some pretty major other projects in the Web3 ecosystem quite soon. So regardless of whether you're interested in being a validator or not, Nym nodes are fully permissionless. We absolutely need really high quality node operators. So don't get too fixated on this validator question right now, because the people that are carrying a lot of weight are honestly also our Nym node operators and our stakers. And we're going to need you guys, and we're going to need some really talented and professional Nym node operators as we start really making use of the platform itself and getting these big integrations into place.
Absolutely.
And Rocio, thank you. We love you too. Yeah, thanks so much for being in the community and running the LATAM community call as well. Thanks so much for that.
Yes, coming up after this one, not sure about the exact international timing, but you can look at the Nym YouTube channel, and it's already scheduled there. So if you speak Spanish and you want to hang out with our amazing Latin American community, then make sure to check it out. Next up, not sure how much time you have left, but I think this is a good one for you, Jaya, so I'm going to ask it. Thank you, Maximilian, for the question. Do you plan to further localize your platform by offering blogs in local language, language-specific information, and hiring local people globally?
Yep, absolutely, Maximilian. In short, most definitely. So I'm not sure what region you're from, but if that's something that you want to get involved in, do let us know. We're always trying to make sure that Nym is as accessible as possible. So yeah, localization is a big topic, and we do run translations that are also rewarded via the Nym Squad, the Nym Squad League. So get involved if you want to chip in there. Yep.
Yes. Next up is from Gustavo. Thanks for the question, Gustavo. Are there going to be launch events globally? Now, I can answer this. No, there's only going to be one physical launch event, but we're going to be live streaming it, probably in a very similar setting to this one. So that's the next best thing. So you can watch the live stream of the launch event itself, and obviously, the effort, or like the celebration of NymVPN going live will very much be a global event. So you're all very welcome to that.
Yeah, we were brainstorming a distributed launch event at one point, and having a launch in between DC in the US and Syria and London, but eventually we all settled on London. It seemed like the kind of more secure option. But Gustavo, if you wanna host a community launch event on the 28th as well, do let us know, and we can perhaps dial in or something via the mixnet. That would be fun.
Fun indeed.
Yes. One thing I wanted to say before I have to disappear.
No, don't disappear. We'll have one more question after you say something. There's going to be one question which you'll have to answer.
Okay. Let me answer the question, then I'll say my thing.
All right. So this one is from our beloved Casey Ford. Will there still only be 2 Nym blogs in 2025?
Well, Casey, you're always welcome to localize and Nym blogs and create, new blogs and new, magazines and so on. You're welcome to publish and write and edit as much as you want, because I don't think you're writing or publishing quite enough. We're gonna have one Nym blog in the new year. We're gonna be unifying our websites. I can give that much alpha on the rebrand. Nym is no longer going to be nymtech.net, nymvpn.com, all these various sites everywhere. We're going to be nym.com, a simple, unified website that has everything that you need to know about Nym. So, but I'm sure Casey will launch about 5 new blogs in the meanwhile.
Yeah, I think we should at least bring it up to like a 6-7 total, so that Casey has enough work, because I think he's not doing nearly enough. For context, guys, if you want to check out our episode with Casey, our writer, then maybe Salazar can drop a link in the chat to that conversation. Thanks for the question, Casey. Always happy to see you.
Yeah.
Are you gonna leave it?
The thing I was going to say, we have an app that's launching to the whole world, guys. And what that means is this is people that might or might not have ever interacted with crypto before, that might or might not know how important privacy is, that might or might not know anything about Nym. And a lot of these people might actually be joining our Telegram channels. So I would love to encourage, especially those of you who've been, part of the core community throughout this year and contributing and deep diving and, know all these like weird and wonderful things about Nym, to be welcoming in our Telegram chats for these new people that are going to be joining, and help them on board and find, fun and creative ways to engage them in meaningful conversation. Because the community is really, one of our unique strengths at Nym. So let's welcome, all the new people that are going to start trickling in, and really create, some good culture and good vibes on our channels.
Absolutely. We already have that, but there's always room to improve. Look, boss, I'm gonna definitely say some closing remarks here to the beloved Nym community. So if you wanna jump on that
meeting, the strategy call. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Wonderful. big love to the community. I wish you, if you're having holidays over the next few weeks, a wonderful time with your friends and family, and looking forward to seeing you in the new year.
Happy holidays, boss. It was nice to see
Ciao.
you. Thanks for joining. Ciao, ciao. All right, folks. I guess everybody left us. You're left with me now. This is not scripted. I don't have any notes or anything. It's just to get back to my earlier point where I kind of rambled and I never finished what I wanted to say. Before I give you your pull-up, of course, which is a mandatory uh, thing here at Nym Community Calls. It really has been an absolutely crazy year for me as head of community. I've been honored to have been part of building this what we have now. I see all the names, all the messages that you guys are sending. I know each and every one of you. We've been hanging out for quite some time. I feel at home here, and it's really magnificent to see um, the length that we've went over this past year. So I just wanted to thank each and every one of you, whether you're a contributor, whether you're not a contributor, you're just hanging out with us. I really don't care. I'm really, really happy to have you here from the bottom of my heart. Whatever you're celebrating, whether it's Christmas or anything else, I wanna wish you a happy one of those. Happy holidays. No crying on stream, Papu. I will never do that. Oh, and there also K-Bash. From our Twitch gang represent. So yeah, 2025 is going to be a big year. I also wanted to say that I think the Nym Squad League was a really good start, or has been a really good start of something bigger. As mentioned with Jaya, we have this larger conversation ongoing, the two of us and also some others from the company, of the general decentralization journey that Nym is going to go through in the next year or so. So that's very exciting. But as for the Nym Squad League, I'm committing now on this very public platform. I'm committing now to all of you guys. I'm going to be making things a whole lot more simple, so that it's much more easy to understand, how the contributions and everything else is working. We're already making big strides towards that with the help of Beyond and his project, the Nym Hub. So the mission board for the Nym Squad League is going to be much more simple, and also a whole bunch of other improvements are also coming to the Squad League. So we want to scale up this program. We want to make sure that anybody, like Jaya said, people are going to be stumbling up on the Nym community. People are like new joiners and are going to be coming from all over the world. And I want to make sure not only that we're a welcoming community and we help out and welcome our newbies, but also that they can get very naturally involved in the Squad League. And if they want to contribute or just learn about Nym, then they can do so easily. So I'm going to be working towards that in 2025. It's been kind of a difficult journey. I've never done anything like the Squad League. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying it. It's been a blast working with you on the Squad League, in the Squad League. And I once again want to wish you very happy holidays. I'm going to be signing out for the rest of the year. See you all next year. But before that, of course, your pull-up. The secret phrase for I'm going to show on screen the usual link that you have to go to. So it's nymtech.net/go/pull-up. It's also in the chat. And the secret phrase for today is privacy loves company. I wanted to both keep it simple and also bring it back to our core value and our main motto. It's been absolutely lovely to have your company. Hopefully, you sort of at least sometimes enjoyed mine as well. And with all of that said, I'm going to stop rambling. Happy holidays, everybody. Happy New Year, and see you in 2025. Bye-bye.